Hey there, my name is Braden Cray Andrew. I come from Kent Island, Maryland. I am 15 years old, and I'm either 5'10 or 5'11. So this is a story of how I sprained my ankle. I've never really been one to injure myself. I have cracked my head open twice on the same table at 2 separate occasions. But besides that, I've never like broken an arm or a leg or something, or like shattered my teeth in half. But this is a story of how I sprained my ankle. So I was a freshman in high school this year, starting big. I'm in high school. Whoo! I'm a freshman. But the freshmen at Kent Island High School have to go to this like annex that's above the middle school. So we're like pretty much upgraded middle schoolers. But I got to go to the main campus at the end of the day for intro to theater. And my cousin went to that school, and she was a senior, and she like drove me home and stuff. And she is a dancer. She's really good, and she's like taller than my dad or something. She's always like the mouse king. That's beside the point. My cousin Reagan, she was like organizing the winter dance showcase, and I'm walking to intro theater one day. I'm like, okay, I gotta go do some theater. And she's like, hey Braden, do you want to be Buddy the Elf? I'm like, sure, I want to be Buddy the Elf. So the number is Sparkle Jolly Twinkle Jingly from Elf the Musical. And apparently I'm not supposed to sing it because that's not what you do in dance. Whatever. And so, yeah, so I'm Buddy the Elf. It's super cool. I don't really know anybody. Everybody's kind of like, oh, that dude's Buddy the Elf. So I have this ridiculous Halloween costume. And like instead of having yellow tights like he does in the movie, I have like these crusty sweatpants kind of things. And so there's this dude named Chris. Chris, if you're watching this, what's up? Chris and I went to the same middle school, which like you may be thinking, okay, but we both went to this like private middle school, this private like Christian middle school in Annapolis, and like. Kind of like followed me here, didn't really follow me. But like, so we both ended up going to Kent Island High School. And he was like, hey, I want to be in the dance company because he's like a way better dancer than me. And he can do these turns, but like he can do like a ton of them. And like every time he does a show, he does like 20 of those turns. Like we take a break in the middle of Cinderella for him to go, look at my turns! So we're like the only guys in the show, I think, in the dance show. And we're part of the dance company, so we're not like in the classes. And I think we're both only in Sparkle Jolly Twinkle Jingly from Elf the Musical. And he's like an elf, and I'm like Buddy the Elf. But the bow song at the end, we were practicing for the show like an hour before. And the bow song is Boogie Fever. And you know, Boogie Fever starts like bum 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 bum. Yeah, and so the idea is we're gonna walk across the stage. We're supposed to look cool, as Miss Wright said. We're supposed to like look cool. Yeah, and he's gonna go to one end and do his super duper turns, and I'm just gonna go off because I guess I'm Buddy the Elf. I can't be more special than I already am. And I'm kind of irked about this because he's kind of been my rival for a while. He almost got the Music Man, but I got the Music Man. That's beside the point too. So we're practicing like an hour or two before the show, and the music starts bum 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 bum, and we're like walking across the stage looking all cool. I gotta be more cool than this guy because he's about to do these awesome turns that I can't do. So I gotta like up the cool factor. So I'm walking across the stage. All pompous, if that's how you use the word, I don't even know what it means. And so I do this little like air turn thing, I'm like, whoa! But like, I did this a couple of times, and I just kind of like did it like I just did now. Woo! You turn and you land. But on stage, something happened a little differently. I turned, I went woo! But I landed like here, and I like sprained my ankle. So I walk off stage going, I was like, oh, that Braden, he fell and hurt himself. Oh, he sprained his ankle. So I'm sitting like in the wings before the show, ice in my ankle, but it like turns into water. I'm sitting on like the Diary of Anne Frank set. It's all weird. People start coming in the audience. They're like, what is Buddy Elf doing back there? So like my foot's numb. Eventually I do go on stage. It's kind of bad. I'm like limping the whole time. But like I come on stage, everyone's like, "Whoa, it's Buddy the Elf! I know that guy. Will Ferrell played him." And so yeah, it was a pretty cool experience of how I sprained my ankle on stage before doing Sparkle Jolly Twinkle Jingly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kyle Blumenthal. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am 17 years old. And I am 5'8". So this is a story about how my dog Kaya died. It's very sad. So we got Kaya after we got my dog Milo. My dog Milo was thrown, literally when he was a few weeks old, thrown in a paper bag in front of the North Philadelphia ASPCA, and they were just left there, and we adopted him. But this dog Kaya, she's a German Shepherd, and when she was little, her tail, another dog broke her tail, and so it was kind of curved like this, and it was very cute. And so she grew up in this kind of really territorial environment, and after we got her, she was diagnosed with Addison's disease. That's where a dog's heart pumps a lot slower than it should, and she had a lot of really big mental issues. She would see these flies that were not there, that were flying around, and she would try and catch them. It was actually really sad, but we lived with her, and some days she'd be fine, and another day she'd be like barking at nothing, and she had bit somebody really bad. This is the sweetest dog, by the way, but it's just out of confusion, she bit somebody who had no clue about the kind of dog she was, and she was just confused, and it got really bad. The person threatened to call the police on the dog because it was a neighbor, and they always heard the dog barking, but they just walked in our house like it's a German Shepherd. So a big thing with all of our neighbors went down. They made us get these fences and like raise them so Kaya couldn't jump over them, and we were on really big edge. I mean, my neighbors threatened us, like me, like to feed this dog hamburgers with glass cut into it. Like, how fucked up is that? That's fucked up. And it was just this big burden over us. And so I'm in school one day, and I have to get picked up for a doctor's appointment. And my mom and Kaya are in the car. Kaya is about 2 at this time. And I get in the car, and my mom's sobbing. And I'm like, "Mom, what's wrong?" She's like, "Kaya bit somebody else today. We have to go put her down right now." And so we went to the park with Kaya for one last time, and then we went to the vet, and we put her down that day, out of nowhere. So yeah, that's she was the sweetest dog, but she just was in some very unfortunate circumstances. Yeah, that's a story.
Hello, my name is Isaac Khalifa Wilhoit. I am 18 years old. I'm from Manassas, Virginia, and I am 6'1". So this is the story that I like to call parking lot cookies. So, this was in Manassas, Virginia, and in Manassas we have like this big like car lot, like one of those big buildings, right? And like usually like a lot of kids who live around there like go up like on top and like just hang out for a bit, like, you know, just like that. Me and my friend Ethan, we were hanging out one evening. It was pretty dark out, but yeah. And we were driving around and we were like, "Hey, let's hang out on top of the parking lot, you know, see what's up, just talk for a bit." And so we were just, you know, shooting the bull, like just, you know, like, hey, what's up? You good? You know, girls good? Yeah. We're looking around and we're noticing, hey, there's a bunch of like sugar cookies all over the ground of this parking lot. Like these perfect, like some dude like had like thrown like these sugar cookies like just all over the place. Like they were like all the way on the other side. Like those, I don't know, those we just thought that was really weird. And me and Ethan, we're like looking down at him like, man, this is so weird. We look up, we're smiling. We both pick up a cookie, break it in half, and we eat it. We eat our piece. We're such monkeys. And yeah, of course we immediately spat it out because we were like, what the hell are we doing? It's out, like, ah! And yeah, I'm not too sure what happened with Ethan, but I of course got food poisoning. That was, of course. Yeah, I was throwing up pretty bad the next morning. Yeah, and yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Preston Canavan. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I'm 17 years old. I'm 5'11" and change, but my license says 6 foot because I stood on my tiptoes. I used to work in a fertility clinic. One day a guy walked in and he said, "Hey, do the eggs come in cartons?" I was like, "Yeah." And well, they did. It was really more of a human caviar business than anything. We catered a lot of Japanese dinner parties, but so the guy went cartons, right? And he was like, "Wow." And I was like, "Yeah." And as a matter of fact, all of our eggs come from free-range, grass-fed, cage-free coochies.
Oh, no.
And he was like, "Wow, I'll browse." And I was like, "Yeah, just let me know if you want to sample any of the flavors." And he was like, "Flavors?" I was like, "It's fall. We only have a week left of the pumpkin spice labia." And so he ate one. And it was good for everybody.
I'm Jamie Gallo. I am 15, I'm 5'6", and I come from Pasadena, California. And this is a story about my dog, Jackson. So at the time, I was probably in about third or fourth grade, and I had one dog at this point, and his name was Gordo, which if you don't know means fat in Spanish. My brother named him when he was born. So one day, my mom and I were at this like community fair, and the Humane Society was there, and they had like their own tent set up, and they brought the dogs from the Humane Society. And so we went, and we weren't intending to adopt a dog, but we were there, and we were looking at this dog, and he was a German Shepherd Lab mix, and we really enjoyed him, and we ended up adopting him. And we learned that he had probably been abused at his past home, and so he was a little like snippy. When we would like feed him, he would like bite us if we came near or try to bite us. But otherwise he was really sweet, but he was a little also like overprotective. But eventually he started running away, and so we would like have him at home, he would love us, he would let us pet him, we really enjoyed him. But my parents would go off to work, I would go off to school, and when we came back there was no Jackson. And so like we would eventually find him, a neighbor would bring him back, and this would happen like multiple days in a row for like months on end. And so eventually our neighbors started getting a little pissed off. They were like, "Yeah, we found your dog again." And we were like, "Sorry, okay." But basically, my dad built a wall. We got like this shock system where if he like went outside of a certain bounds, he would get shocked. And so eventually like he stopped running away and we didn't need to use the shock system anymore. But by the end of it, he stopped running away, and so I made this website called Runaway Dog, and I pretended to be my dog, Jackson, and I wrote about the stories and adventures he had while running away. And that website still exists somewhere, and I hope nobody ever reads it. And that's it.
Hello, my name is Matthew Sung Gerard. I'm from Kernersville, North Carolina. I'm 5'6½", maybe 5'7", and I'm 17 years old. This is the story of how I broke my teeth in half. So it all started in the 6th grade. I was kind of a nerd then, I was in a club called National Academic League, NAL, and so it was. I mean, it's basically just like this big like. It's trivia. Like the club isn't important. That's not an important part of the story. So it's National Academic League, and we have practices every other day after school. And so at each practice, halfway through, we get a snack break. The snack break was the best part. It was 6th grade. Like, it's snacks. Like, and like these were good snacks. I'm not talking like off-brand Goldfish type of stuff. Like these were like Little Debbie's, like full bags of Doritos, stuff like that. High quality stuff. And so like the 3rd month in, it comes around time for a snack break. And so our advisor, Miss Newton, she's like, who wants to go get the snacks? And that day like had been really shitty. I was really like, I wanted to eat. Eating makes me feel better. So I was ready for the snack break. I was so ready. And so I was like, I will go get the snacks. So I get up, start running to the door, and I slip on an eraser.
Oh, no.
And as I begin my descent downward, I start to scream because I know it's coming. Like there's no way that I'm landing. There's no way that I can fall safely. Like I'd been running so fast that the momentum had just built up. And you know those falls where like someone goes from here to there, just like that. It was one of those. But like, you also know, have you ever had that moment where like everything's kind of slowed down because you know you're in some serious danger, but you know you can't do anything about it, so it's just kind of happening slowly for you? It was one of those, and so I just started screaming because I was scared. And so as you do, your mouth opens when you scream. So my mouth is open, I'm like, ah! And I land directly, like direct impact on my 2 front teeth. Like, nothing else. It's just the teeth. That's where it hits. 100 pounds of force, definitely, like 200 pounds of force, because that's a lot of momentum, plus my body weight, directly into my 2 front teeth. And I just lay there for a second, everyone's like, oh my god, like, and I get up, and I'm feeling okay, like, I'm like, okay, I didn't hit my head, I'm not concussed, didn't break my jaw. I get up, and I'm just like, I'm alright. But then as I'm speaking, something's missing. Something that's supposed to be there is no longer there. And I'm just like, oh, I lost my teeth. And I was like, okay, I can deal with that. Because like, dentists can like, they have ways of putting teeth back in. Like if they fall out, like it's easy to deal with a tooth that falls out as far as dentistry goes. Because like you can get a full fake tooth, not that hard to put in. But then I feel it. I feel these 2 little sharp jagged edges where my 2 front teeth used to be. And I didn't break them in half because why would it be something that easy? No, I broke them diagonally. I don't know how, like it was front impact, but both front teeth break diagonally this way. So like they went from like, so this is the square of my tooth, and they ended up being something like that on both sides. So that's my life now, and I start crying, not because it hurts. I start crying because, if you'll remember, I was really hungry, and I wasn't really in a good state of mind. So like I was kind of out of it, like, and I start sobbing because I think to myself, I'm not gonna be able to eat. I'm not gonna be able to have these snacks that everyone else is about to have that I was getting up to get because I broke my teeth. It's like I'm sobbing, like just like on the floor, like fetal position, like this is pathetic. And so they get me up, they find the shards of my teeth, they put them in you know those milk cartons you get in the cafeteria that are like those weird little shapes and you gotta open them up? You get one of those, and they put the teeth in there because apparently calcium can like maintain the teeth, and they like no one there's like known in dentistry, like no one knows what's going on, so like they're like let's save the teeth, so they throw them so my mom comes to get me. I'm holding this milk carton full of milk and the halves of my teeth that are no longer in my mouth, and I don't think I have any pictures, but like this was the most tragic looking, like, it's just ugly. It's bad. And I know it's bad. And everyone else knows it's bad too. And it's so bad that it's not like, oh my God, like everyone's just avoiding me. Because they don't want to address it. It's and so then we get home, we go to the dentist, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to give you a root canal because your roots are exposed because they broke in half diagonally. Because who breaks their teeth in half diagonally? Apparently me. So my dentist's like, yeah, I've never seen anything like this before. This is that's really unfortunate. And so root canal, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna cut this short because I've been talking for a while. And so, like 5 years later, I have crowns and my teeth look fantastic. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, so when I was it was like the middle of 3rd grade, I was a competitive cheerleader, and I've done it for 2 years by this point, and it was the end of the season. And I wasn't terrible, but I wasn't like amazing. Like I was good for my age and my skill set, so I could do like back handsprings and stuff, I guess. And I had a trampoline in my backyard. Oh, no, I forgot to slate. Oh, God. Okay.
You can play afterwards, it's fine.
Okay. And so I was just flipping on that trampoline, and I was doing like a back handspring, and I wasn't really prepared to do a second one after, and my body just went before my mind, and I did it, and I ended up not having like the strength to hold myself up after, so my elbow went like that on the trampoline, and I broke my elbow. And I was like screaming at the top of my lungs, and my parents thought I was over exaggerating because I was like that person. But then they took me to the hospital, and then they found out I had a broken elbow, and I had to have 2 pins there for maybe like a couple weeks, and I still have scars from where the 2 pins were. So yeah, that's my story. Do you want me to slate now? Okay. I'm Julia Guarino. I'm 4'11" and a quarter. I'm 15 years old, and I'm from Concord, North Carolina.
Hi, my name is Katie Copey. I'm 15 years old. I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia, and I'm 5'2" and a half. So today I'm going to be telling the story of one of my fondest childhood memories. So it was a normal day. I was maybe 6, 7, 8, and I have 2 younger brothers, Eric and Matthew, and Eric was probably 4 or 5 at the time. And so we were chilling with the babysitter because my parents had gone out for the evening. This poor girl, she was probably 13 or 14, and she was just, doing babysitter things like, hey, you guys want to play a board game? We're like, no, Bubble Guppies is on, come on. So we were up very late watching Bubble Guppies because they would play it all into the night on Nick Jr. And so it's maybe, 9:15, and my babysitter said, okay guys, it's time to go upstairs. And my brother Eric, at this point in his life, and pretty much also now, he would wake up at 5 in the morning every single day without fail, sleeping in to 6:30, and that's insane. That never happens. So once it gets to be like 9 o'clock, he is out, like down for the count, will not be awake. So we were all like kind of groggily, it's 9:15, it's really late for anyone actually. So we were all heading towards the stairs to head upstairs, and at this point Eric is entirely sleepwalking. Like the rest of us, we're heading up, Matthew and I, we're good. But Eric is completely knocked out, and so he's sleepwalking, and we're like, okay, come on Eric, up the stairs. And he stops right in front of the stairs, and we're like, okay. And my babysitter's like, come on Eric, go get up the stairs. And so he stops, he turns around, faces the bottom of the stairs, drops his drawers and starts to sit down, and we're like, oh my gosh, Eric, stop, do not. And so, Eric's about to take a you-know-what on the stairs, and so we all pull him off the stairs, and he's like, guys, what the heck, I'm in the bathroom, I'm just trying to do, and we're like, stop, Eric, oh my gosh. And so we pull him up the stairs, and he stops probably 3 or 4 more times before getting to the top of the stairs, and it's probably one of the most life-shattering experiences of my young life, because all of us, we lunge at him multiple times. He's about to fall off the stairs or do something else. And eventually we pull him to the top of the stairs. He finds the bathroom, thank the Lord. And Matthew and I get safely to bed. My poor babysitter, I don't think she ever sat for us again. Neither would I. And that's the story about the time Eric almost did not find a bathroom.
Hi, I'm Cole McFadden. I am 6'2". I'm 17 years old and I come from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a story on kind of how I became me. It all started in 4th grade. In 4th grade, I used to get these headaches, basically. Every day I'd go to class and eventually I'd go to Eagles, and Eagles is my favorite part because I was one of the smart kids. Didn't last for long. After Eagles, I would usually get this weird migraine headache, go to the nurse, and eventually be sent home. This would happen for a couple weeks now. And eventually my mom was like, okay, let's go to the doctor and see what's wrong with you. Long story short, I ended up going to 27 different doctors around the state. Some of my favorite experiences with the doctors was, one, the blood sample that they wanted, and they missed. They couldn't find my vein. They stabbed me 17 different times. 6 times on this arm, 7 times on this arm. Eventually I forgot which, they did my feet and finally found one in my knuckle. I was really dehydrated. Another really funny one is that they thought my feet was the issue. So they tried to detox my feet. Putting it in this weird yellow liquid and stuff came off of it, and it was just like, oh, that must be it. Now you don't have headaches anymore. It didn't work.
Oh, no.
Anyways, later on, I started having to miss school. They started getting worse and worse and worse to the point where the lights affected me, and noise affected me, and smells really affected me. For about 6 months, I was in my bed in the dark, waking up, reading, trying to get whatever work I missed done, finished. Anyways, 6 months later, we found out about a hospital in Boston that I've started going to, which isn't very fun to go to. I think I went to 10 different times, which for me it's about a 6-hour drive. So, wasn't great. I went there and apparently, or I was told, that I was stressing out too much. Yeah, in 4th grade, I was stressing out too much. Go me. They worked on me with some exercises, and eventually I've kind of been morphed into this very chill, relaxed person. On the other hand, I no longer stress about work, and it's not a great experience for me whenever I have something due and I don't worry about it, or I need to get my homework done and it doesn't get done. So yeah, I lost 6 months of my life and now I'm here.
My name is David Moskowitz. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I am 17 years old and I'm 5'11". So this is one of my favorite stories, and when I think this was 3 years ago, my family always goes to Stowe, Vermont, which is a big ski town. And I have cousins there that ski all the time. One of my cousins, now he's 13, but at the time he was, I think, 9 or 8 years old, and he was already sponsored by a local ski company. I mean, these kids are like ridiculous. They do double backflips and 360s off crazy jumps. Anyways, me, I'm an okay skier. I can do blacks, but I'm not like I can't do jumps and stuff. So one day, while my cousins were performing all these stunts on these little terrain parks, I was like, you know what, I can do this. I'll try a few. So I went on some rails, and I did fine. I did just small jumps, about 2 to 3 feet. But then we got to the bigger jumps, and these were 20 to 30 foot jumps, like big Olympic size, not Olympic size, but like huge jumps. And my cousin just flew down. My cousin Asa, he did like a crazy backflip, like a ridiculous backflip. And then my cousin Eli comes down and he does a 720. So I'm like, these kids are 3 years younger than me, I can totally do this. So I go down the slope and I'm going as fast as I can, and I'm not braking. And I'm just going really, really fast. And I go off the 25, 30 foot jump, and I'm turning my body to try to do like a 180, just a simple 180. And as I turn my body and I'm facing backwards, my body leans back. So, you know how skis are, they're like this. Imagine I go off the jump, and when I'm going down, instead of gliding back on the trail, my two back skis go right into the snow. And my ski boots immediately detach from the two skis, and I tumble down the mountain. I mean, not the mountain, the hill. Thankfully, I actually didn't get a concussion, or I wasn't severely injured, but I was out for a solid 45 seconds after, until my cousins kind of came and wake me up. But yeah, no, that was a terrifying experience. And yeah, that is my story.
Hi, I'm Clay Oliver. I'm 15 years old. I'm 5'7", and I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This is a story about how I convinced an entire table of people to put mayonnaise in their hair. So, if you couldn't tell already, my hair is awesome. So, many of my fellow peers usually wonder just how. So, one day I decided that at lunch I would grab a cup of mayonnaise and bring it over to my table I intended to sit at. So, I did it one day. I came over, I gave a little sales pitch, and then, as an example, I did have to put it in my own hair, but I was able to make it look good because, well, look at me. And then, once I did it, I was a little worried they weren't going to be too convinced, but then I see someone say, "Can I try it?" And then I, of course, give it to them, and they get a good little portion of the mayonnaise and just start going through their hair. And then I thought he was going to be the only one that did it, but then everyone else decides they want to give it a try themselves. So it goes around the entire table, and we all have mayonnaise in our hair. The funny part is that only did they realize the next day whenever I said, "Oh hey, that actually wasn't hair gel." That's my story.
Hi, I'm Jade Parker. I'm 16 years old. I'm 5'1", and I'm from Chicago. This is a story about how I fell down the stairs in grade school. So it was like a regular Tuesday. I was in like 6th grade, or probably like 5th grade, and we were walking single file down the stairs to our library. And I don't know how this happened, but as I'm walking down the stairs, I fall, knees first. So I'm like going down the stairs. I think that if I grab the rail, they'll stop me from falling even further. No, that just makes me go faster down the stairs. And everyone's just staring at me like I'm crazy. Like nobody tried to help. They were all just like, "Oh, you good?" I was like, "Do I look like I'm okay?" Because I don't feel okay. But like all my stuff was all over the stairs. Like my books, my notebooks, all of like my pencils, my pens, everything was across the stairs like a tornado ripped through the hallway and just took everything from me. And basically I stand up and my knees are like dripping with blood. Like it's just like a consistent drip. It's really bad. And I can't walk whatsoever. I'm like stumbling to get to the office to get like a Band-Aid or something. And I'm walking alone. Like no one had the like bright idea to come help me. So I was walking down the hallway for like a solid minute without anybody actually helping me walk down the hallway. And then my teacher, who I didn't like whatsoever, not the slightest bit, she's like, "Do you need help?" I was like, "Sure." But in my head, I was like, "What do you think? I'm stumbling down the hallway trying to get to the office, and nobody had the bright idea to help me." But yeah, that's my story about falling down the stairs and busting my knees open.
Hi, my name is George Russing. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm 5'7", but my permit says 5'8". She likes me. I'm 15. And this story involves Shakespeare. Oh boy. So a few months back, I was in a Shakespeare sonnet reading. And I read a sonnet, and I had a sonnet. I knew exactly the sonnet that I was reading. I had memorized it. It was good. I got it. The sonnet readings were 2 days. First day, I came to watch the sonnets. I wasn't reading a sonnet, just watching. I was good, ready, sat in the back. And it starts raining really hard, and I hear it on the building, so I go out. And the guy who organizes it is standing out there, and he's got 2 sonnets in his hand. He goes, "Hey guys, we're missing 2 people. You." So I walk up like, "What?" And he's like, "Here, you're reading the sonnet." I'm like, "Oh." I was about the 10th sonnet. So I had about 10 minutes to figure out how to pronounce Shakespeare. Shakespeare. And it was, I never thought I'd see a word that had about 30 letters in it. Like, how do you pronounce a word with 30 letters in it? You figure it out. And I watched as people would get up and do their sonnet and come back down. And I was like, oh boy. But I got up there, read my sonnet. People clapped. Only when I said clap, but they clapped. I sat back down, and I was done. You know, it was exciting. Very next day, I came in ready. I was ready to read my sonnet. I had it. I knew it. I'm good. I sit down. Guy who organizes it runs over. He goes, "Hey, somebody called in sick. You're reading this." Again? So, second half comes around. I walk up and I read the sonnet I actually memorized, and I run up there and I kill it. At least that's what I think. My mom told me anyway. And then I sit back down, and the third half comes around. That was when I had a sonnet. Sonnet was about like a mom chasing a chicken, and you were like a baby. So that was it. And yeah, had a really kind of sad ending actually. But nobody knew when the sonnets ended. So you'd get up there, you'd finish your sonnet, and you could see it on the paper. Ended. Just dead silence. You're just sitting there waiting. People just stare at you and you think, anybody? And then like the one old guy in the back like, "I know this ends." He knows. Yeah, my grandpa, you're dead. And that is the story of how I read 3 Shakespeare sonnets when I just wanted to read one and relax. No relaxing was had that day.
Hi, my name is Jenna Sakija. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm 17 and I'm 5'7". So this is a story about how I fell in love with one of my best friends. For me, there's always a moment with a person when you first meet them where you kind of really discover what kind of person they are and how much they're gonna mean to you eventually. And for me, it was with my friend Miranda. I had never met her before. This was in our first period American history class, and she was just sitting in her desk next to me, and she leans over and she goes, "Hey." And I was like, what's going on? And she opens her bag, she's like, "You want to see something? I have a surprise." I was like, "Yeah, okay, what's the surprise?" And she leans over into her bag and she pulls out 2 adult coloring books. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's great." She's like, "Okay, but there's something else, there's one more thing." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" And she leans over again and pulls out a 24-pack of brand new watercolored pencils. And she starts giggling to herself, and like she pulls open the bag or the box of pencils, and she like leans over and she's like, "Smell them." I was like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Smell the colored pencils, they're brand new." And so she made me sniff them. And it made it smell like, you know, wax and pencil and wood. I was like, that's amazing. She's like, "I know, right? It's incredible." I was like, "Yes, it sure is." And then she goes, "Do you want to color with me? Because we have nothing to do." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll color with you." She's like, "What kind of design do you want?" It's like, "I don't know, any design works." She's like, "I'll give you one of these special ones. They've got like lots of loopies and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, I'll take one of your loopy designs." And then she goes, "What's your favorite color?" And I was like, "I like yellow." And so she hands me every single shade of yellow in her pencil box. And that's when I decided that I was in love with her, and she was going to be one of the closest friends for probably the rest of my life. And that's it.
Okay, my name is Molly Seidman. I am from Eugene, Oregon. I am 5 foot and I'm 16 years old. So this is 2009. I'm in 3rd grade. I'm going into Macy's. Me and my mom were probably buying some shoes. So I'm going up the escalator. My mom's talking to my dad. He's in work. And I look down. I'm in my favorite shoes, my Crocs. And my foot is caught in the escalator. And so I tug my mom's shirt and I'm like, Mom, my foot's stuck. And she's like, what? Like, she's stressing out. I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. And so we're going up and my mom's like, okay, I gotta pull her out. So she starts tugging me, but like my sock has now gotten caught inside of the inside of the yellow part that you're not supposed to stand in. And so I'm going up and my foot is not coming out. And so my mom's like screaming, help, 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 and she's tugging me and she's tugging me, and like my shoe is gone by this point. Like, it's, the front of it is totally charred. It's like black and stuff. And so we're going up and my mom's like, we're almost at the top. Her foot is not coming out. We couldn't press the stop button. I don't know why somebody else didn't, but there was like a crowd gathering at the top and someone just finally said, pull! And my mom yanks me out. And so like I got out and nothing was wrong. I was in tears because I'm like, I'm not gonna have a foot, but I was fine. But I was crying and they gave me some free shoes. That was pretty cool, but they're like size 6 and I was like a 4 child. And so years go by, so I was in 3rd grade and my mom just wanted to make sure that nobody else wore Crocs on an escalator. So we brought the shoes into my school and she talked about them and said, do not wear Crocs on an escalator. And so we had the socks and the shoes and we threw them in the garbage. 2013, this is 4 years later, I walk out and the shoe and the sock are sitting on my driveway. We had thrown them away. I had never seen them since, but my charred shoe and the sock was there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Henry Silberstein. I'm 16. I'm 6 foot, and I'm from Sparta, New Jersey. So when me and my siblings were very young, my father would like to tell us stories, like off of rather puns or jokes or like metaphors. So I'd like to share one of those stories. And my father called this the story of the foo. So he started off describing the foo. This foo is a magnificent bird with fiery feathers, almost like a phoenix, with 20-foot wingspan. It was majestic. And this explorer wanted to find this foo. And this foo lived in a cave, and it was so rare, it was the only of its kind. This explorer was bent on finding this foo. So, for years upon years, he's walked around the jungles, searching for this cave of wonder. And one day, he finally found it. And he was like, oh yes, I'm going to find the foo now. So he walks in, he turns on the flashlight, he's looking everywhere, right? And he looks up, and there's the foo. And as it spreads out its wings, it shits on him. Now, by this time, my siblings and I are like, I've given up on our father 100%. Like, we're like, where is this story going? It's off the tangent now. And he's like, wait, I got this. So, he says, so the explorer writes down his notes, right, after the bird shit on him, right? So he goes home, he washes it off, and the next day, the explorer dies. And our father told us that this explorer died because the explorer didn't know that this majestic bird had magical poop. That if the poop landed on you, you had to live with it. Because if the foo shits, wear it.
My name is Julia Talo. I'm 17 from Indian Trail, North Carolina, and I'm 5'1½". And this is the story of how I broke my toe and my parents didn't believe me for 2 weeks. I was in the 5th grade and I was over at a friend's house. We were running around, we were wild. And I ran up, she had a 2-level, it was one stair that went up to a platform, and I was running up it and I tripped and my toe slammed into the wall that was next to me. And so I was on the ground crying and all my friends come over and my sister was there too and she told me to get up and get over it because I was being over dramatic. And then I went home, I was crying, I was in a lot of pain. And then I went to my mom and I told my mom that I hurt my toe and it's really bad. And she goes, you'll be fine. So about 2 weeks later, my toe was still gross. I was walking, I couldn't do anything about it. I had already gone to a little camp where I was really active, and I just dealt with it for 2 weeks. And then we were at a swimming pool, and my mom sees my toe, and she goes, "That's not good." and then she took me to urgent care after 2 weeks, being over dramatic. Yeah. And then they told me my toe was broken, and I was right. And that's it.
Hello, I am Simon Tobias. I'm 17 years old, I'm 5'6", and I'm from Mooresville, North Carolina. And this is my story of how my brother framed me for stealing a video camera. So back when I was 10 or 9 years old, I had this little flip video camera. Do you remember those kinds of cameras? And my brother stole it from me and tried to blame me for losing it, because back then I couldn't keep up with my stuff. So my brother tries to steal my video camera and blame me for losing it. And he goes all the way to the extreme by telling my dad that I lost it. And I tell them that I don't remember losing it, and they tell me, "You're lying, you're just trying to make it up." And I said, "Why would I lie?" And the bad thing is, immediately after I started thinking otherwise, my brother goes, "I stole the camera, I'm sorry." And that was when I got so angry. I felt like I wanted to punch him in the face, but I didn't, thank goodness. So my dad, my brother, and I looked around our house for hours to find my camera, and we couldn't find it. And when we checked the last place in the house, both me and my dad gave my brother, a very angry stare in the eyes, and my brother looks at me and says, "None of your beeswax." And then I say, "It is so my beeswax, idiot." But then, as soon as I feel like, just as soon as I'm about to get so angry to the point where I want to I can't say punch his face, but I want to hurt him, he says, "It was in my pocket the whole time." And then I said, in my mind I was thinking, "Why?" But all I said was, "Thank you." And that's it. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Emma Venable. I am from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm 17 years old and I am 5'1½". So today I'm going to tell you the story of when I was in 2nd grade and I got a little overzealous with learning large words. So like most 1st or 2nd graders, I was learning how to read. And I read every word that I saw. I would read signs on the side of the highway. I would read the words on the soap dispensers in the bathroom. I would read actual books. And one day I came across the word antibacterial. Now, I had no idea what this word meant, what it was doing on my soap dispenser, or how to pronounce it. But I tried. I got each individual part of the word, I sounded it out, I stared at my soap dispenser every time that I went to wash my hands, and for months I tried to figure out what the word was and how to say it. I could have just asked my parents, but I was too determined to learn the word by myself. And so one day, after, I don't know, like 3 weeks or something, I was like, Mom, what is this word? And she goes, it's antibacterial. And I was like, okay. But all of the joy of trying to figure out what the word was lost. So that's the story of me trying to learn words and then losing all the joy of discovering them.